Going live. All right, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. Basically, where we talk about how great the New York Football Giants are. And I don't give a rat's rear end what happened last night. We'll also talk about how badly the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys fucking blow. I don't care what happened last night. The Eagles absolutely fucking blow. I fucking hate them. Welcome to the Gridiron. You've been checking me out on YouTube. If you give this video maybe a thumbs up or share this video, that'd be absolutely freaking awesome. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. And next time we go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Also, on YouTube, description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels that you can check out. Each membership level has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. And also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,100 members in the group. It's doing fantastic. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group darn near 365. All right, so it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied, I promise. And also, just there's a link underneath that takes you to my Twitter account. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. All right, guys. Well, here we are. Right? I mean, if the Giant, there were no gimmies. There's none of this, none of that. What's up, good boy? All right, any given Sunday, or I guess nowadays it's any given Thursday or Friday or Sunday or Monday, right? But if the Giants, the Giants being presented, not a powerhouse team coming in. I mean, a good team, but they're all on par with the Giants, right? The Giants are celebrating the 100th anniversary. They just had this big shindig last night at a 5K run today. Tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out and everything. But apparently during halftime, they're going to be introducing the family of all the top 100 players. And I said, I'm not sure. If they're going to bring in Lawrence Taylor's family and they're going to introduce each person, Lawrence with his, and I don't know how extended the family is. Is it just going to be Lawrence Taylor, his wife, and kids? Is it Lawrence and his brother, Lawrence and his mom and his dad, and his brother and sister, and his aunt and uncle and cousins, and his mom? I don't know how extensive it's going to be, but apparently, at least the halftime is going to be maybe a little bit longer than normal. So you got, you got the 100 best players of all time being brought in here, and the families. So obviously a lot of the guys are no longer with us, sadly. But if they're not here, right? Like Ray Flaherty, right? He's not here. He's number 1. Retired his number. Not leak. Nah. Anytime he catches a pass, good cast. Anytime he catches a touchdown, you got to say leak, right? Like cruise, right? But it's got to be leak. I think we're going to have a long and illustrious career with Mr. Leak. But anyway, like with the Flahertys, they're going to bring the Flahertys. So you got the best of the best of the best. If the players aren't there, because they're no longer with us, the family's going to be there. So you got the top 100. You got, to not everybody loves it, but to some people, I get a kick out of it. I get a charge out of it. The old, because I'm an old time fart. Look at the old time uniforms, right? Cool. So you're wearing that. you're home. It's a whole new season. You got a chance to start 1-0. You know, got a good chance to start 1-0. You know, the top 100 players, the place is going to be going freaking bananas. Everybody's got Super Bowl, of course, Super Bowl aspiration, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, man, if you're going to start the season off, I mean, we're not playing against the high school team. I get it. You know, and don't get me wrong, you know, Vikings, you know, I mean, I don't think it's going to be any type of blowout. I'll give you my prediction, although I'm usually wrong. If you want to win some money, take my prediction and just bet against it. You'll probably win some money. This is my 4th season. Not bet. I don't bet. Don't bet. My 4th season, especially doing predictions early on. And the first 3 years, I've been wrong every time. So, 2021, the Broncos came in. I picked the Giants over the Broncos. Right? Every Broncos, right? Yeah. Not a stellar team, but of course they look like the greatest team of all time, right? When they beat, I think it was 27-13. 2022, new coach, new this, new that, and everything. We went to Tennessee. Tennessee's a good team. Of course, I picked Tennessee. I don't remember what I picked the score to be, but I'm almost positive I picked Tennessee. Of course, the Giants won. And last year, I was hitting the crack pipe. I was hitting it hard. I loaded that pipe up, fired that. I got it like a flamethrower. Hit that. Well, you know, the crack. You know, it was just crackling all over. Held it in for about an hour. Let it out. I was seeing all kinds of stuff, and I actually picked the Giants to win. Man, how stupid can you be, you know? 842,000 to nothing later. Yeah, I was wrong again. So I'm 0 for 3. So I'm going to try to snap my streak. But, you know, I mean, if you ever got a chance to go 1-0, you know, got a good chance here. You know, good chance. So, you know, it wasn't like they gave you the 49ers or the whatever. You know, I mean, you know, the Cowboys who we seem, for whatever reason, can't seem to beat. You're the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, you know, so got a good chance, right? Although, I mean, oddly, the Giants. What's up, good boy? Shocking development. Of course, it won't last, unfortunately. I hope it does, but everybody. Let's see. Do I got it over here? Where's it at here? Is this it? Giants receive perfect news heading into Week 1 matchup with the Vikings. Now, I mean, this is just, this is just. I'll tell you what. You just don't see this now. Of course, unfortunately, it is what it is. Football's a contact sport. There are going to be injuries, right? But Giants have had a very busy week. The 2024 NFL season began on Thursday evening, and New York will open their play on Sunday. They've got an NFC clash on tap to start the games that count. Giants got some fantastic news on Friday afternoon. Brian Burns and Drew Lock are good to go versus the Vikings. Neither player is on the injury report on Friday. Accordingly, they will both be active for Week 1. Giants acquired Brian Burns, blah, 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 blah. Tom Pelissero says offensive lineman Brian Burns' ankle and backup quarterback Drew Lock with his abdomen are off the injury report and good to go Sunday versus Minnesota. All right. We got the injury report for this Week 1 matchup is quite unique. And especially with talking to Giants, it's very unique. Now, usually, the other team, it is absolutely freaking amazing. But usually the other team always has less injuries than the Giants. It is absolutely amazing. I remember last year when we played the Rams, I think the Rams had like one guy, maybe two. The Giants had like 11 guys. It's just absolutely incredible. It's just simply amazing, But Neither team has a player with a game status from injury. Neither team. The Vikings or the Giants. There is no one on the injury report for the Vikings Giants for either team. No one is out. No one is doubtful. No one is questionable. Now, of course, once again, it's that'll change after the game's over. But for the Giants to at least start week 1 with no one out or doubtful or nothing, that's rather remarkable. Of course, we had, let's see, Bulletin with his back, Locke with his abdomen, Micah McFadden and Gunner with their groins, and Brian Burns with his ankle. Friday, they were all limited participation. But they're all game time status. They're all good to go. Now, it's the same thing with the Vikings. Now, obviously, Jordan Addison, he was a little bit of a question mark there, right, because of his ankle. But he tweaked his ankle. It was last month. So, Jalen Naylor, Stephon Gilmore, rest, and Harrison Smith. The guys are like about 70 years old if you combine their age together, almost 70. They're up there. A lot of experience, great player, blah, blah, all great players and all and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think Harrison Smith's like 35 or something. He's getting up there. They did not participate in practice. They just gave him a rest day. But Naylor and Addison, 2 wide receivers, their ankles, but they were full participation in practice on Friday. So everybody's good to go. The one thing is that Hawkinson, thankfully, is not going to be going because he ate the Giants up. But the thing is that, I talked about this, I think the last video I did. I didn't do a video the past couple of nights because I was busy watching football. Well, actually, I didn't watch the Eagle game because I was following it on a computer. If the Eagles, I will not watch an Eagle game if they're winning. If they're losing, I'm all over it. But if they're winning or doing good, or if they're driving, I will not watch. Absolutely, will not watch. If it comes down to if I got a terminal illness and the plug in the wall, right? The doctor says, Jeff, you got 2 choices. If you want to live, you got to watch the Eagles win a football game. Or the only other choice is you die. You pull the plug now and you die. I just tell Doc, pull the plug. Because I will not, absolutely will not watch the Eagles win a football game. Absolutely not. Not happening. Absolutely not. So I was following the game, and the Packers were doing good in the beginning, and then the Eagles just started in the middle, the 2 middle quarters. The Eagles scored a bunch of points, but so I was busy with obviously with the football, and I watched the Thursday night. What a very, very good game there. I mean, I don't know, some of those illegal formation calls or whatever it was against the Ravens, and kind of makes you wonder. But anyway, I was watching that game. Went a very, very good game. I mean, when they say football's a game of inches, the guy's toe was out of bounds by about a half an inch maybe. They possibly could have tied the game up more than overtime. But is what it is. But I was talking about and the last video I did was with Hawkinson not being here. He tore the Giants up. But the thing was, one of the reasons why he tore the Giants up was because the Giants were playing, were paying a lot of attention to some guy named Jefferson, right? So, when you pay a lot of attention to one guy, and Jefferson did not. Well, let's say, what do you do? Let's go here. New York Giants. Yeah, all right. Giants 2022. And we'll compare both of them here. What did Jefferson do and what did Hawkinson do? Okay. All right, so we got where are we at here? Okay. Christmas Eve. All right, we got Hockenson, 13 catches. Justin Jefferson, he had 12. Wow. But Hockenson had 13. But they both got ball thrown to him 16 times. But we had a, we really had a cover Jefferson really, really good. But I'm saying Hockenson had 13 catches. He had one more catch in the regular season game than Jefferson did. Let's see what happened in the playoffs here. Justin Jefferson had 7 catches for 47 yards. Hockenson had 10 for 129. So Hockenson averaged 13 yards a catch. Jefferson averaged not even 7 yards a catch. So we were covering him pretty good in the playoffs. But the reason why Hockenson was just, all over, they had Dalvin Cook out of the backfield for 6 catches. Thielen caught 3. Osborne had 2. Munt had 1. Irv Smith Jr. had 1. Madison had 1. But the reason why Hockenson, good receiver, or tight end, shall I say. But the thing was we were paying a lot of attention to Jefferson. So, Jefferson caught 7 passes, but he didn't even average 7 yards a catch. 47 yards on 7 receptions. So we were really paying a lot. It was make sure that Jefferson doesn't beat you, especially in that playoff game. And he didn't. Hockenson didn't beat us either. The Vikings didn't win, but Hockenson had a very good game. He averaged 13 yards of reception, 10 catches, 30. He caught 10 out of 11 passes thrown his way. But the thing is that when you try to cover someone like Jefferson, it takes some personnel to cover the guy. So it's going to open the field up for somebody else, and have to open the field up for Hockenson. Now, as I said, he won't be there, so that's a big help for the Giants, right? Let's see here. I'll tell you what. I keep seeing. I don't know. I feel it is what it is. It's life in the NFL, and I guess I just like. I've been saying Jakob for a while, but now I'm getting used to the Jakob part. Jakob Johnson. Tell you what, this guy, he's been on the practice squad, on the 53, on the practice squad, off the practice squad, on the practice squad. He's been in NFL Europe. He went to the Canadian Football League. He went to the Commanders. He went to the Patriots, went to the Packers, back to the Giants, on the 53, off the 53, on the 53. He was the Giants starting quarterback, the Giants starting punter, back on the 53, off the 53. Then he went to the Raiders, and he went to the Chiefs, and he went to the Broncos, to the Browns, back to the Giants, on the 53, off the 53, practice squad, off the practice squad, off the practice squad. He's had 315 different designations in the past week. It is absolutely amazing. This guy's head must be freaking spinning. But he had to be shuffled on and off the Giants' 53-man roster and practice squad since the initial 53 has been announced. But apparently he was released. The fullback tight end, Jakob Johnson, is probably starting to feel like a human yo-yo when it comes to his tenure with the Giants. Jakob was released from the team's practice squad to make room for signing inside linebacker Carter Coughlin, who was dropped from the 53-man roster on Thursday. Jakob originally signed to the Giants on August 16th, did not make the initial 53-man roster when cuts were announced on August 27th, but he was one of the vested veterans added to the team's practice squad the next day. Then on August 29th, he was promoted to the 53-man roster after offensive lineman Austin Schlottman landed on injury reserve with a broken leg. Schlottman stayed on the roster for a short-lived as his contract was terminated 2 days later on August 31st. He was then re-signed to the practice squad on September 2nd, lasting just 4 days until his latest transaction. Giants have been engaging in roster gymnastics this week, so it's certainly possible that Jakob will be back at some point. But, I mean, he's been on and off. I mean, but the Giants had some good positive injury updates. McFadden has put his groin injury behind him. Let's hope. Let's hope. And then, of course, Bulletin is back. As for Bulletin, his availability is huge for a Giants team that lacks depth at the secondary. He dealt with a back injury during the preseason and is limited in practice this week, but it would appear that he is good. Bulletin is currently listed as the starting strong safety on the Giants depth chart. He is set to play an important role for the team's defense this season and is finally getting an opportunity to showcase the promising skill set he has flashed over his first 2 seasons. Last year, he recorded 2 interceptions and 33 combined tackles. So we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, the Giants, let's see here. As of right now, their practice squad. Elijah Garcia, Casey Rogers, Gio, Isaiah Hodgins, Joshua Miles, Jimmy Morrissey, Lawrence Cager, Marcellus Johnson, Jude McAnamy, Art Green, Duke Shelley, Raheem Lane, Toman Fox, Alex Johnson, and Dante Turbo Miller. So, and then they have on the reserves Matthew Adams, Deontay Johnson, Austin Schlottman, Elijah Riley, and Chase Coda. So now the special teams just what I'm looking at here. That doesn't mean it's official. They got Gunnar Olszewski, who is the punt returner. Tyrone Tracy Jr. is the backup. And then for the kick returner, now it's going to be interesting to see. You got Gunnar Olszewski, and once again, Tyrone Tracy Jr. is the backup. Now it's going to be interesting. Do they have 2 kickoff returners, or is it just 1? I'm kind of, from everything I'm seeing 2 with all the teams. So we'll have to wait and see. But I tell you what, that poor Jakob. I mean, it doesn't. That's the one nice thing is that a lot of times when the guys get let off the practice squad, that certainly does not mean that they won't be back, right? And especially as we see, especially with the Giants, and we all know with the Giants, right? Yeah, they're only 1 injury away from being on the 53. And we know with the Giants and injuries just go hand in hand. So, but I mean, I'm totally shocked, absolutely totally shocked that there is nobody's listed. Probably doubtful, none of that. So shocking, absolutely shocking for the Giants. Let's see here. Now this is here. Vikings versus Giants in week 1. Minnesota starts the season on the road on Sunday afternoon. No kid. It's the first time these 2 teams have played each other since 2022, the NFC wildcard game. A lot has changed since then, as the Giants no longer have running back. They're 1 running back. The Vikings have Brian Flores instead of Ed Donatel manning the defensive coordinator position. Minnesota has won the past 4 or 5 matchups dating back to 2015, according to the football database. Vikings are favorites on the road as Las Vegas sportsbooks have them at 1.5 point favorites. Giants get no love. Well, now this is from the Vikings. The Vikings they're giving a lot of let's see here. Predictions. What do we got here? All right. There's interesting here. There's key personnel battles that they're talking about here. There are quite a few of them here, which are very, very interesting. So they got the Vikings versus the Giants, key personnel battles. Bradbury versus Dexter Lawrence. Now, I'm sure Bradbury's going to get some. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get some help. That's going to free up Kayvon and Burns on the edge. However, now the Vikings have some good tackles, but so the Giants are going to have to, win their battles. And also, if Dexter is getting doubled, that means whoever's next to him, when it's a passing situation, or running, whatever, is going to have to win their one-on-one battle, whether that's Nacho or Davidson, whoever they wind up getting in there next to him is going to have to win his battles. But Bradbury's weakness has always been the big, dominant pass rushing defensive tackle. Enter Dexter Lawrence. An opening day game against a 6'4", 342-pound nose tackle is not what the undersized Viking center needs. The previous time Bradbury and Dexter went head-to-head, it was a rough day for the Vikings. In the wildcard playoff game in 2022, Bradford allowed 4 quarterback hits and 5 pressures while posting a dismal 28 passing block grade from Pro Football Focus. It will be tough for Sam Darnold's first outing as a Viking if Bradbury is dominated by Lawrence like that again. There is only so much Bradbury can do against a physically superior Lawrence, and Bradbury needs to be able to hold his own. Double teams and scheme will be important for the Vikings' ability to nullify Lawrence's presence in the game. From the Giants' perspective, they hope their man can wreck the game and force Donaldson to have game-defining mistakes. Now, one of the things, obviously, is getting the pressure right from around the edge. But if the quarterback can't step up in the pocket, enter Dexter Lawrence. That's huge. So Dexter, without even getting a sack or maybe so much even a hit or something like that, being able to just not saying collapse, but push the pocket back, right? Push Bradbury and everybody right back into Darnold. That would be huge. Right. The thing is with what Darnold has at his disposal is Addison, Jefferson. So he has some good receivers to throw the ball to, get the ball out of his hands quickly. So it's going to be interesting, especially the 2 edge rushers. And we're talking about one right here. Now the thing is, you don't know because they got Darisaw versus Brian Burns. Now the interesting thing is, you can swap the edge. You could swap the edge rushers. You're not swapping tackles. I mean, Andrew Thomas ain't going, ain't clapping, breaking the huddle. He's clapping. Yeah, let's go. Hey, Jermaine, hey, you take left tackle. I'm going to be the right tackle. I got the edge rusher over there. I want to, no. Andrew Thomas or Darisaw or whatever, he's going to the same tackle spot. Now, you can flip-flop your edge rushers if you want, right? But here they got Darisaw versus Brian Burns. When the Vikings are on offense, there will be another critical battle at the line of scrimmage. This time on the left side of the Vikings offensive line, Minnesota star offensive tackle Christian Darisaw, will go ahead with Giants edge rusher Brian Burns. Giants traded for the Pro Bowl edge rusher defender in March to add firepower to their pass rush. And Darisaw is good. He's a keeper. Burns racked up 46 sacks in his 5 years in Carolina since being drafted by the Panthers in the first round of 2019. The Vikings likely have a hard time stopping the interior pass rush, Darisaw's ability to handle Burns on his own will be vital. The Vikings' 2021 first-round pick is garnering a reputation as one of the best tackles in the league, starting this season by keeping a player of Burns' stature quiet would be an excellent way to bolster that growing reputation. Then they talk about, Justin Jefferson versus Deontay Banks. Now, obviously it's going to be a little more than I'm sure just Banks. I mean, if you just want one-on-one, Jefferson, and there's no other help or not like that, it could be a long day. Could be a long day. So, but they got the Giants face the question every team that plays against the Viking team faces: how do you stop Justin Jefferson? Said in that with the Winks, the scheme in the playoff game, the wild card game, 7 catches, 47 yards. Last season, the Giants played a lot of man coverage, but with a new defensive coordinator and Shane Bowen, they will run a more diverse blend of coverages. Second-year cornerback Deonte Banks will have the main job of picking up Justin Jefferson, while it remains to be seen what sort of help he gets. Banks was a player on many Vikings fans' mock drafts last year, but the Giants selected him with the 24th overall pick. They did so knowing he would be the guy to lock down opposing teams' star wide receivers. Banks felt like his rookie season was a warm-up year, and he now feels ready to be the guy. I mean, just he doesn't have to be Deion Sanders, but each year gets a little bit better each year. I mean, last year was a learning year. This year's going to be a learning year, but said usually by the third year, you got a good indication of what the guy's going to wind up being. So if he gets a little bit better each year, right? Then, of course, you got Stephon Gilmore and Byron Murphy versus Malik Neighbors. The guy here says, I always felt that the Vikings needed something extra at cornerback, and that was before they tragically lost their third-round rookie, Kyrie Jackson, and Mekhi Blackman tore his ACL, ending his sophomore season before it began, late in the day. The Vikings added Stephon Gilmore, the veteran all-pro defender, who is the likely starter on the perimeter with Byron Murphy. The pair will likely share the responsibility of guarding the Giants' primary weapon, Malik Neighbors. The Giants were already thin on the ground with offensive playmakers before they lost their running back. They had to select one with their 6th overall pick in this year's draft, and Neighbors' number was called. Little else on the Giants' offense to get truly excited about. There will be pressure on Neighbors to come straight in and be the guy. Don't forget about Slayton. Don't forget about Hyatt. And don't forget about Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm not saying, I'm saying Hyatt's going to put up 9 catches for 175. I'm not saying that, but don't forget about those guys. Don't forget about because like when a Hyatt or when a Slayton, when they catch the ball, it could be a difference maker, right? I mean, you don't usually drop back the pass and hit Hyatt for a 9-yard gain. Cool, yeah, all right. No, I mean, a lot of times, sometimes Slayton, don't drop back and just hit them with a 6-yard pass pattern. I mean, sometimes when they catch it, it's got some meaning to it. So don't. And also, don't forget, as I said, don't forget about Wan'Dale Robinson. If the guy can stay healthy, he can. He's a chain mover. So as what you're talking about in this article, how we have a problem trying to cover Justin. Who's covering Justin Jefferson? Banks? Is he going to go? Is he going to follow him? I mean, from one sideline to the other, wherever Jefferson goes, that's where Banks goes, probably. But it's like, what kind of help is he going to get? And it's the same thing they're talking about on the other side of the ball for the Vikings, right? How they're going to handle, how they're going to match up, how they're going to cover Malik Neighbors. It's going to be interesting to see, especially because you're talking about Stephon Gilmore. You're talking about one, but he's getting a little. I mean, I think this is his. Let's say 5th different team in 5 years. Stephon Gilmore. All right, Pro Football Reference. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The guy is phenomenal, But guy's 30. Is he going to be 34? He's 33. Oh, he's going to be 34 in about 10 days. He's born September 19th, 1990. He's going to be 34. So actually, really, between him and Harrison, they're almost 70 years old between the two guys. So, I mean, Gilmore, I mean, he's been around since 2012. He's going to be 34 years old. He was with New England in 2020, Carolina in 2021, the Colts in 2022, the Cowboys in 2023, the Vikings in 20. So he's been with 5 different teams in the past 5 seasons. So, yeah, I mean, the guys still have some in the tank, I'm sure, and all this stuff and everything. But it's going to be interesting to see. Then another little heads up kind of head-to-head battle they got going on. Sometimes does not always happen on the field. It's Flores versus Dable. Because Flores, right, he was the one last season. The reason why the Giants were number 2 as far as blitzing was because Brian Flores of the Vikings was number 1. Wink was number 2. Right? So Flores is going to send, everybody and his grandma is coming. Okay. But so Dable's got to think this, right? And hopefully dial up plays that puts Daniel Jones in the best position to succeed. But also, a lot of it's got to be up to Daniel Jones. I mean, it's all stuff to the offensive line, right? If whoever's calling the signals, which way to slide, whichever way to move the protection, right? But then Daniel Jones has got to help too. I mean, he's got to pick up stuff. Are they coming? Are they not coming? Just so. Brian Flores' Viking defense is exciting to watch. In the first half of last season, an exotic defense that was on the blitz, but also heavy in dropping back into coverage. It confused teams throughout the season, but injured players emerged, and the lack of talent on the roster took its toll. The Vikings defense got found out. The guy here says, I'm intrigued to see what Flores brings us in the early part of the season. Man trying to figure that out week 1 is Brian Dable. Giants head coach has taken over play calling duties this season. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka had that role the previous 2 years. You don't want to be figuring things out against the Vikings defense. So Dable needs to have his team ready. If Flores can get his men after Daniel Jones and put him under pressure, the Vikings will have a very good chance of absolutely. Because, one thing we've certainly seen without question is Daniel Jones under pressure. Just take the Texan game, for instance, right? Didn't want to take the sack. I get it. You want to try to, I don't know. But no pick 6. So, but I mean, that is one thing that it's everything. Dave will want to call some the plays hopefully to set them up for success, but the offensive line, and if they have a running back picking up the blitz or whatever, picking up who's coming, who's going. So that's very, very important. But also Daniel Jones getting the ball out of his hands. If there is pressure, who's the hot read? But if he does have time, if they're not coming, if you feel that you got some time, can you step up in the pocket? Can you look downfield? And can you look downfield? Or can you look at your receivers without staring down one? Okay, we got the ball. All right, okay. All right, come on. Come on, Slay. Come on, baby Slayton. Turn around, baby. Turn around. Okay, all right. You see me? I see you. See me? Okay, the ball's coming. You ready? All right, put your hands out. Okay, here comes the ball. Here goes. Yeah, I mean, can we, get a little? I guess what the sprinkler, right? Can we look back and right the sprinkler set right back and can we look at our receivers? So then I saw this. This is pretty cool. The 5 biggest New York Giants upgrade from the season over from last season. Now, of course, we do have some upgrades, but we do have, we took a little step back in the running back department, right? For right now, without question. I think we took a step back in the safety department for right now. Yeah, I said give Newman, I'm not saying he's maybe be as good as it, but both were second round picks. You don't have to be from Alabama to be a good safety. Okay. Newman seems to, have some high praise so far. But I'm a lot of guys. I mean, I'm very excited about seeing, obviously Malik, Phillips, right, and Newman. Definitely very, very excited about seeing those guys on the field. I'm not sure how much Murasau he's going to say. Not sure how much Tracy's going to say. Especially, I am interested to see who's going to be the backup to Motor. It seems like we're on the depth chart anyway. It seems like it might be Gray. But, obviously want to see what Tracy can do. Very, very interested to see what he can do. And very interested to see what, obviously, Theo Johnson can do, too. Obviously, the top four, 4 picks. Very excited. But you figure that, I guess, the top 4 wind up getting probably most of the playing time. Very, very excited seeing what they're going to have done there. But I said possibly just for the time being, we took a little step back at safety. So we've got a young group of safeties back here, young. So the secondary is young, right? But so this is interesting. The 5 biggest Giants upgrades since last year, the season opener in 2023. First one they're talking about, Malik Neighbors over Isaiah Hodgins. Yeah, take that one. When the Giants geared up for week 1 matchup last season, there was no clear number 1 wide receiver. What it was trying to be, right, was Waller. Right? I mean, works pretty well at Kansas City. It doesn't necessarily mean your number 1 wide receiver. Your number 1 receiver has to be a wide receiver. The guy who gets the most targets and all that can be a tight end. And quite possibly that's what, the Giants were hoping for maybe with Waller, right? Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins were hoping to emerge as playmakers. But, it's tough to have anybody emerge as any type of playmaker last year with that offensive line. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was always amazing. We actually won 6 games, 85 sacks. Now, though, Hodges is on the practice squad, and there is a new playmaker in town to help out Daniel Jones. The Blues' top wideout will be rookie wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who Giants drafted at number 6 overall. After not seeing a Giants wideout receiver put up 1,000-yard season since 2018. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Last 5 seasons haven't had it. That makes sense because basically the number 1 wide receiver as far as receiving yards pretty much has been Slayton, and he's been hovering around the 700-yard mark. Tough to win ball games when your number 1 wide receiver gets 750 yards. Unless you have like 4 guys on your roster that have 750 yards, then I could see it. But let's see, Neighbors may able to break the stat streak. He's coming off his best collegiate season at LSU in 2023, where he had over 1,500 receiving yards and scored 14 touchdowns. So obviously, that's a huge upgrade. And you got to be, you got to look at it too. I know one of the other upgrades is coming up here. It's like we could have kept, possibly kept Saquon. We could have kept Xavier. Shane has his priorities, right? What do you, what do we want 2 edge rushers? Or do we want, or do we want to upgrade? We want to, we wouldn't be upgrading the safety position. We would be dishing out money to keep Xavier. So we took maybe for right now a little step back at the safety, but we wouldn't be upgrading it. Right. But he's got his priorities, what positions, right? Number one, so running back, and I guess safety is a little low on the list, right? So we could have paid Saquon 13 if he would have signed here. Who knows? We could have paid Xavier 17, so that's 30, or we could have gave 30 to Brian Burns, right? So you can't. It's just it's tough. I mean, with the way that the money is, the NFL does not want it. Does not want that. Right? They want parity. They want you to be able to go from last to first, from first to third, third to first. Parity. Right. The one thing, parity is good. I get it, because it gives you, it kind of gives you a little bit of hope. I mean, I look at the Giants, right? 2021, they sucked. 2022, we went to the playoffs, baby. We won a playoff game. Woo! Gives you hope. The next year, whoa, a lot of it had to do with injuries, but it gives you hope. So it's a good thing. When everybody starts 0-0 week one, everybody's got aspirations of at least making it to the playoffs. Right? The thing that, being the old fart that I am, the thing I don't like about the worst to first and all of that and stuff, the thing I don't like about that is because 800 years ago, when I first started watching football, the Giants were always like in almost last place almost every year. I mean, there was the Cowboys and all of that, and every year they're just so good. There's no salary cap or not like that. They draft good. They train their players good. They develop them good. So they're just good. They just keep bringing in good players and all that. And every year the Giants suck. Every year. And every year the Cowboys are number one. America's team, number one. And you get so sick and tired of hearing that. So you go through 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever years, 10, where the Cowboys are just beating you every year, and you just hate them. I mean, the thing I like about that, right, is when finally the tables start turning. Man, that feels so good. You don't know how good that felt when we finally beat them. Was it 38-35 in 1980 at home? I mean, we couldn't score a point in 1980. Somehow we scored 38 points against the Cowboys in Giant Stadium in 19. But then to beat them, the final game of the season, 13-10 in overtime. Lawrence Taylor's first season in 1981, and we won that game. And then that was a Saturday game. We had hope the next day that the Jets would beat the Packers to send the Giants in the playoff. But I mean, it was just the crowd when I wasn't at the game, but seeing it on TV, the crowd was bananas. I seen grown men hugging each other and stuff. Oh my, going bananas because we beat the Cowboys in overtime. We had a chance of going. I mean, it's like when you finally start turning the tables on it, it is so rewarding. I mean, one year you're good, then you're bad, and you're good, and you're bad, and you're good. It's. I said the one thing, and it was the same thing with the Eagles back then. We could not beat the Eagles at home. We could not beat it from 1973. I think it took us to 82 till we finally beat the Eagles at home. 73, we tied them. It's at home. Philadelphia coming to Giants Stadium or Yankees or whatever. We 73, we tied them 23-23. It was the last game the Giants ever played at Yankee Stadium. After that, they went to the Yellow Bowl. But 73, 74, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 81. So it was at least 9, maybe 81, maybe 82. 82 or 83. At least 9 years in a row, the Eagles beat or tied the Giants in New York / New Jersey / Connecticut. Right? We played all over the freaking place. But after you just hate the Eagles. I mean, you hate them. So when the tide starts turning, man, oh, that's better than sex. I'll tell you what. That feels so good when you finally, you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of the way it is now. Yeah, to a certain degree, we have a hard time beating the Eagles. We can't beat the Cowboys, whatever. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm saying just back then, we were just so bad. And finally, we started turning the tables. It was just so rewarding. So rewarding. Oh, my God. Absolutely freaking loved it. All right. So the next upgrade is talking about Brian Burns over Azeez Ojulari. Yep. Without question, is a major upgrade for the Giants at the outside linebacker position. Now, Azeez, I mean, if Azeez can stay healthy, you know, he's definitely, without question, has shown flashes of being a very good edge rusher. But a lot of times he just can't stay healthy, you know? And he's just kind of, I mean, it's just, the sacks is just diminished. It's like, so, and, you know, you got to pay. I mean, they're dishing out some money for that defensive front. They got to keep some money stashed away in the side if they're going to plan on keeping Kayvon, right? Because somewhere along, you know, because next season they have to declare if they're going to pick up his fifth-year option before the season starts, which would be like a no-brainer, right? But then they could also, you know, I think somewhere along the line, maybe next season, you know, give him a contract extension or whatever like that. Do it now when it's cheaper, right? Do it earlier. You know, don't, you know, I mean, you know, don't wait for the fourth season and the fifth season to be over and all of that. And then, you know, try to do it if you can, obviously, something early on, because it might, in the long run, it might save you some money. Give the guy a contract extension, you know, maybe early as you can, because it maybe keeps it cheaper. Because if you wait a couple of years, everything just goes up. Anyway. But when the Big Blue traded for an extended former Carolina Panther pass rush Brian Burns this offseason, they knew they were going to get a special player at the linebacker position. Oh, yeah. I mean, you see some of his moves. He's just silly. Let's hope his ankle can stay, you know. Because there's a couple of times so far he seems like he's tweaked. Oh, I hope so, boy. I hope, oh, man. I hope neighbors go, oh, it would be so rewarding, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be just so nice? I mean, I remember, you know, when Odell came in, he missed the first 4 games that season. And I think the first game, he came back. He only played like half of that game or something like that. But that season, at 2014, I mean, the final like 11 games, and he was just, oh, man, it was just, oh, man, it was just special, just special. You know, I'm really anxious to see. But then again, that was Eli throwing the ball. This is Jones. You know, so I know Jones, you know, there's no more excuses for the guy. No more excuses. This is quite possibly the best offensive line you got. You know, it may not be the best weapon you have in the backfield, but without question is probably the best offensive weapons you're going to have, right? So there's no more, right? And with Malik or Leak, right? You just try to get the ball in the guy's zip code and let him come down with it, right? So I hope he does. I hope Malik. I mean, you know, oh man, man, without question. While Azeez Ojulari has shown bits and pieces of being a solid pass rusher throughout his Giants tenure, there is no question this is an upgrade. Absolutely. Burns, over the course of his 5 years playing for the Panthers, totaled 46 sacks and quickly became one of the NFL's best pass rushers. Burns is also 1 year removed from posting a career-high 12.5 sacks in 2022. And he's coming off another solid season for the Panthers in 2023 where he had 8 sacks. Now, another one of the things, too, is like, you know, when on the Panthers, I mean, you're only so good. You know what I mean? They can, you know, if you only got one real, maybe, possibly threat as far as maybe rushing the pay, you can kind of slide some protection that way, or if the Panthers stunk. Now, I didn't look to see, and I don't know, right? But if the Panthers are losing, chances are the other team might maybe run the ball a little bit more or get some, they don't have to gun it downfield. They can take a 5-yard reception or this, or get the ball out of us. They can kind of dictate to the Panthers defense what they're going to do. If the Panthers are losing, I don't know, I'm just saying 27-10, it's halfway through the fourth quarter. The other team doesn't have to stand in the pocket for an hour and a half and gun the ball all over the field, right? They can run the ball, as I said, a quick screen, or jet sweep, or whatever, some quick passes or stuff like that. So Burns only had like the 8 sacks or so, but sometimes there's a reason why. But the thing is, here it's almost like pick your poison. Right? You got Kayvon, you got Burns, you got Sexy Dexy. Right? Pick your poison. So without question, Burns is a huge upgrade. Wandale Robinson over Paris Campbell. Now, I got a kick out of this because the Eagles, and their fans and all of that, man, we just signed Paris Campbell and John Ross. Woo! We're going all the way, baby. We're winning the next 35 Super Bowls. Woo! We got John Ross and Paris Campbell, baby. Woo! And I think they both guys got cut, I think. Didn't make the 53. So Wandale Robinson, a healthy Wandale, absolutely. He should be the chain mover, without question this year. He's not somebody you're going to be sending deep because you got Slate and you got Hyatt and you got Malik, right? But underneath, right, maybe whatever, jet sweep or something or whatever, let him run the ball out of some in the backfield or whatever like that. Wandale should have his hands on quite a few balls, absolutely. So they're talking about Wandale Robinson as a major upgrade over Paris Campbell. Now the thing was, I almost felt bad for Paris Campbell. You bring the guy in, you paid him like $5 million it was, which for a wide receiver with his talent, with his speed, his talent, $5 million, that's not too bad of a bargain. The thing was, it's kind of like, why did you bring the guy in? Now, there's a zillion things you don't know, you're never going to know. And all, but it's kind of like, why did you bring the guy in and pay him $5 million and he's just sitting on the bench? What? You didn't talk this over? You got no, we'll just bring him in. Yeah, here's some money. And then a week later, whatever, a month, 2 weeks, it's like, we really can't use the guy. Yeah, let's just put him on the bench. It's like, the guy has 5 yards of reception. It's like, really? That's all you can? If it is what it is, but why did you bring the guy in? When the Giants signed wideout Paris Campbell to a 1-year deal last offseason, they hoped he would build off his career best 623 yards receiving with the Colts the year before. That was not the case. This is unbelievable. You bring the guy in, pay him $5, I think it was about 4.75 or something like that. Campbell was basically a non-factor for the Giants on offense, tallying 104 yards on 20 receptions. He averaged 5 yards a reception. Now, with a healthy Wandale Robinson, this offense should look much, absolutely. If Wandale can stay healthy and all that, he should be a huge upgrade, without question, over Paris Campbell. All right, I got the next one is Jermaine Illuminor over Evan Neal. Absolutely. This should really come as no surprise for the Giants right tackle. Evan Neal has quite simply failed to live up to his expectations. New York had him on when they drafted the tackle with one of their first-round picks in 2022. From injury stints, they have sidelined him for multiple games and even being booed by Giant fans. Oh, yeah. But Illuminor, let's hope the guy can stay healthy. And it's going to be interesting to see because you can't every 53. You're not dressing everybody. You don't dress, so it's going to be interesting to see. Right? Does Evan Neal? Does he make the cut? Does he want to get dressed? Is he going to be the swing tackle? I'll have to wait and see. right, then finally they got here. Oh, yeah. Guard John Runyon over Ben Bredesen. Giants made another move at the offseason. I mean, you can, I mean, Runyon over Bredesen or whoever they had at guard last year. I mean, Justin Pugh straight off the couch. So they signed Runyon to a 3-year, $30 million contract. Runyon will replace Ben Bredesen, a left guard, from week 1 last year. And this is incredible news, according to G-Men HQ. That's who wrote this article. Runyon has spent his first 4 years in the NFL with the Packers as another reliable veteran lineman. Shane was able to sign. Runyon has not missed a game in his career since being drafted by the Green Bay in 2020. And after playing every game during his rookie season, he has since started in 50 of 51 games over the course of 3 seasons. Gotta like that. Also, according to Pro Football Focus, he allowed just 22 total pressures and 2 sacks and was ranked 9th among all guards in the NFL with a 92.4 pass rush win rate. If Runyon replicates the success he had during his days as a Packer, Giants' offensive line will be vastly improved. There are big expectations for Runyon after he put the pen to paper on his $30 million deal. Only time will tell if he can deliver it for this team or not. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so then the Giants got here. Giants elevate 2 from the practice squad and cut 1 ahead of the season opener. So, Giants have released linebacker Curtis Bolton from the 53-man roster. It's like you need right, a scorecard. I mean, with the 53, the practice squad guys going, coming, go. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So Curtis Bolton has been released. Bolton was signed to the 53-man roster on August 28th after he spent the offseason with the Dolphins. Giants also made 2 standard practice squad elevations for special teams, include Carter Coughlin. They got him up there, who was cut on September 5th, right? Signed back to the practice squad the next day. And then Ty Summers, who signed to the team's practice squad on August 28th. For accounting purposes, the Giants have a 51-man roster, the 2 standard elevations, which gives them 53 heading into Sunday's regular season opener against the Vikings. Earlier this week, the team restructured Bobby Okereke's contract to open up $4.5 million in salary cap space. Now, I mean, it's just weird because when they restructured and they freed up some money a couple weeks ago, they had like over $10 million in salary cap space. But now, according to Over the Cap, the Giants previously had $2 million in cap space. Now they have a little over $6 million in cap space, which is 24th most in the league. So they don't have a lot of cap space. And the one thing is because you got guys coming up on the practice, letting guys go. I mean, you might go out and have to, somebody might hit the streets and you pick them up and you bring them in, or whatever. So you need to have some money during the season. But the Giants, all of a sudden, I mean, I said a few weeks ago they had like at least $10 to $12 million in cap space. Now they're, before this latest move that they did with Okereke, they went down to about $2 million. I know what they really don't want to do is they don't want to do anything with Daniel Jones's contract. I don't really think they want to do that because they're going to be kicking the can down the road, especially if he's not going to be their long-term quarterback. They don't want to free up. They don't want to, free up $10 million in salary caps and just kick that down the road. Yeah, if he ain't going to be the quarterback of the future. So I don't know if they're going to want to touch his contract, but we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, the one thing you really don't want to do, but, it seems like when teams, when they're playing the Giants, I don't remember who it was, but whatever it was, 3 seasons ago, 2021, the Broncos were coming to town. I can't remember who it was, what guy for the Broncos said, oh yeah, we're getting the dub there. We're going in. We got that. And it just goes to show you. I mean, the Broncos were not good. They didn't finish the season with a good record. They didn't make the playoffs that year. We're not a good team. We're not a very good team. But they came in, they got themselves a dub. Now, the third thing, you just don't want to go in. You're on the road, week one, blah, 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 and just give the other team bulletin board material. But I said that one guy, I can't remember who it was, said, oh, yeah, we're coming out with the dub. Yeah, you're talking about the Broncos going into Giant Stadium, coming out week one with the dub. And they came out with the dub. Oh, yeah, that wasn't even pretty. Yep. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, you don't really want to give bulletin board material, right? Be humble, praise the best you can, the other team, and, let the best, let it come out on thing. You don't want to give bulletin board material, especially from this guy. I mean, it's not, the guy was like, Reggie White or Aaron Donald or something. I mean, somebody of that kind of stature, he's getting his team all fired up and stuff like, maybe, but still, but this guy here, we about to go crazy. Vikings linebacker gives Giants bulletin board material ahead of their week one matchup. Ivan Pace Jr. has written a pretty big check that he and his Minnesota Vikings defensive teammates will have to cash during the Sunday's game against New York Giants. Based on his recent comments, it's fair to say the Vikings' second-year linebacker, is the guy Lawrence Taylor or something? Am I missing the boat here or something? Second-year linebacker doesn't think that his defense will have many issues against the Giants' offense, a group that includes veteran quarterback Daniel Jones and rookie first-round pick Malik Neighbors. The reporter asked, hey, what are you going to do, or how are you going to do, or whatever like that. He's like, man, we about to go crazy. We about to go crazy, Pace said when asked about the matchup. It ain't even going to be no matchup. Jermaine Illuminor saw that and texted him back or something like that. LOL or something like that. Jermaine Illuminor, after he read that. Pace was then reminded about some of the New York's offensive weapons led by Neighbors, who has drawn rave reviews this summer. Yeah, they look good, Pace said. They look good, but I know our defense. I know what we've got in this locker room. Yeah, I like that. The confidence. Yeah, that's cool. I know what we got here, but you know what I mean? I know what we got. Hey, I like the guys we got. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. I mean, they're at home 100 years, but he probably doesn't even know it's 100 years. Probably can't even spell Giants, this guy. But I know I like the guys we got. It's going to be a challenge. Come on, but we're going to be up for it. We're going to be ready. We're going to do the best we can. Something like that. Man, we about to go crazy. And it ain't even gonna be close or something. I mean, yeah, okay. Lawrence Taylor, I guess I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. Yeah, they look good. Pace said they look good, but I know our defense. I know what we've got in this locker room. Minnesota has some talented defenders, especially veteran pass rusher Jonathan Greenard. Recorded 12 and a half sacks for the Texans last season, and defensive backs Harrison Smith and Bynum. But was it necessary to give an opponent added incentive to play well? 100th-year anniversary, week one. Yeah, Lawrence Taylor is going to be in the house. You have the top 100 players and their families all in. The place is going to be going crazy, and you're giving them bulletin board material. That question will ultimately be answered during Sunday's game. Rest assured, Pace's comments will make their way into the Giants' locker room if they haven't already. It'll be interesting to see if Pace's words prove to be prophetic or if the Giants' offense rises to the occasion. Two things that Pace should have considered, though, was where Sunday's game was being played, as well as his own team's quarterback situation. New York is already a tough place to play, and his comments probably didn't help matters. Few people know that better than quarterback Sam Darnold, the Vikings quarterback, the former Jets first-round pick who's starting in place of rookie J.J. McCarthy. Now, as I said, I do know also that I think Illuminor, he saw the some I don't know if he tweeted him back or whatever it was or something like that. LOL. So I mean, so his comment's been heard, and at least Luminor knows of it, and I'm sure it's going to be bulletin board material. But I mean, it's like, are you really, is that something you really want to do? But anyway, so I picked wrong. 2021, I picked the Giants over the Broncos. I was wrong. 2022, I picked the Titans over the Giants. I was wrong. 2020, I hit the crack pipe really hard, and I picked the Giants over the Cowboys. So this year, okay, I'm going to pick the Giants over the Vikings. I think it's going to be close. I mean, obviously, I hope it's not close. I hope we win like 30 to 7 or something like that. But the Giants got a lot to prove. So do the Vikings. I think with the Giants, with the young secondary we have, I think there'll be some mistakes made. And if you make some mistakes against maybe Addison or Jefferson, they could cost you. All right. Plus, they got a good running back, so that could cost them. So it's the Giants are going to give up some points, but I do think that the Giants will be able to move the ball as well too. And I got 24-23. Take the Giants 24-23. So let's see if I can snap my my winless streak. I'm 0 for 3 on opening days. So let's see if I can snap my streak. I got the Giants winning 24-23 week 1, and they start the season off 1-0. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 11 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from Bob Hunt. Means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.